Well, I mean, I did these three Tekken movies, and I'm supposed to be a man with a certain set of skills. And in this one, the guy's a total amateur. He loses his son, and he has a primitive need for revenge and doesn't really know how to go about it. And starts reading criminal novels to see if he can pick up any tips. Mark Vanslow was our fight choreographer and stunt coordinator. We've done 22 films maybe together now. We just finished one before Christmas, 2019. Another one. So this one was, I hadn't a huge amount of fighting to do, and when we talked about it and rehearsed it, I said, look, it should be just very basic. There's no style. It's not kung fu or any of that stuff. It's just a simple man who's just has his enemy in front of him and wants to destroy him with his fists. And so we see that, and but I wouldn't say he's a Nels Coxman, my guy, is a kind of an action hero in this, But he does know how to use a snowplow to very, very good effect, and various machines for, cutting trees down. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking, We had a wonderful guy, I forget his name now, who operated these machines, but the controls were very, very delicate. You couldn't have a heavy hand in using these levers and stuff. So I was very, very impressed with them, and they are powerful, And some of them, there was one of them, gathers this snow up and shoots it, 50, 60 feet away, So it gave me a real appreciation for these guys that do keep the roads open in the wintertime, I think the straighter we play it, the funnier it is, we had a lovely scene, and again it was cut for time reasons. When I visit Bill Forsyth as my brother, who's living in this Thai temple in the middle of Colorado, and he's dressed in shorts and beachwear, and his little Thai wife is very, very angry that I'm there, and I have to take my boots off, and I'm dressed in all this snowplow stuff, Just that image was quite funny, and as I say, the scene got cut for lots of reasons, but when we did it, it was just quite surreal and strange and funny and bizarre. And Laura's like myself; she's got lots of stories, so we were very comfortable with each other. Let's put it that way, which is great, We both know lots of people, the same people, and indeed we're both very good. We have very good mutual friends, So we were always sharing little bits of gossip and stuff before, as the cameras were rolling, So then when we started the scenes, then we had already established a relationship of sorts, You definitely had to layer up, and that's all the experts will tell you to do that if you're out in the extremes, layers of clothing. So there were times I felt like the Michelin Man, you had so much stuff on. But it was needed, and the weather up there in Alberta was changing. Sometimes within 10 minutes you would have sunshine, bleak, bleak cold, and then suddenly it would start snowing and winds would start. So Mother Nature was very, very much in control, and there were a couple of days we did have to come off the mountainside because it was a little bit too treacherous. And then suddenly it would get dark, you know. And my thoughts always went to the Teamsters, who have to be there first thing in the morning with the trucks and the gear and all the rest of it. And they also have their last to leave at night. So when we were told we must leave the mountainside now, we had to leave the mountainside then, you know. It happened a couple of times, not that often, but a couple of times. Well, it was different material, and it was a different country, and so I think Hans is probably the one to answer that for you. But I found him, I loved his sensitivity, his sensibility to it all. He, obviously being European and Scandinavian, Norwegian, he just gave the whole American story a different slant. I don't know how to interpret that, but he wasn't scared. He loved making us all look silly at certain points, you know, the folly of mankind, you know. Hans took particular pleasure in that. There's a lovely scene in the hotel where Tom Jackson's character is White Bull is looking at all the tourists in the hotel, the ridiculousness of people dressed up to go skiing, and these novelty shops selling Native American sculptures and art that were made in Korea or China or somewhere like that, you know. So it was a lovely wry commentary on I don't know, the abuse of merchandising Native American culture, you know. Peoples who have been on that land for thousands and thousands of years, you know. The white man successfully drove off and put them in reservations, you know. It in a funny way it comments on all that, you know, without you being banged over the head politically, you know. But Hans was great. I'd love to get the chance to work with him again. And he's from the world of theatre, as indeed I am. So you develop a shorthand language with a director like that, you know. It was one of the last things we shot. He's sitting beside me, and I asked him, I said, Tom, tell me about your, what is the essence of this, of the Native First Nations and Native Americans' attitude to the land, to the earth? And he says, I can show you in 30 seconds. He said, okay, look into my eyes. And we stared at each other, not trying to outblink or not blink, but he just stared at each other for 30 seconds. And then he said, okay. He says, now imagine looking at a plant or a tree. And he said, that's your brother. That's your sister. And he said, that's it. That was his explanation. I thought it was rather beautiful, you know.